I'm sure everybody has heard about the Lantau Tomorrow vision. In one form or another, perhaps you've heard the rumors that Lantau was going to be filled up with landfills. Perhaps you've seen those flyers being handed out in Tongcheng. Whatever it is, today I will be explaining in depth the reason this project was proposed and the consequences of it. It is a well-known fact that there are many problems in Hong Kong. Did you know over 1 million people are living below the poverty line? This is one of the social problems that we have to fix. However, there are a lot of ways in which Hong Kong is doing extremely well. Hong Kong hosts a population of 7 million people, and there are 6 marine parks currently in Hong Kong. These are Hong Kong's current environmental and social benefits. This population causes an extremely critical problem in Hong Kong, the housing crisis. Many youngsters and elderly alike are struggling to find affordable housing, which affects the quality of life in Hong Kong. It is important to note that even though the population of Hong Kong is over 7 million people, only 106,000 of this live on Lantau Island. Lantau Island is the largest island in Hong Kong, with over twice the size of Hong Kong Island. In fact, it is even the 6th largest island in the entirety of China. The small population in Hong Kong is usually centered around a little area that is developed on the island: Discovery Bay, Tung Chung, Mui Wo, and in villages scattered across Lantau. Lantau is mostly country parks. This is why it is known as the green lung of Hong Kong. The small clusters of people spread out around the island provide small, meaningful communities, each with their own personality and uniqueness. Tourist attractions include Fishing Village Tayo, the Big Buddha, and even a Hong Kong International Airport. This is a map illustrating the population of Hong Kong. The purple areas indicate the densest areas of the islands, and the yellow areas indicate the areas with the lowest population. As can be seen here, Lantau Island is nearly completely yellow, whilst areas in the Kowloon Peninsula and Central are suffering the most from crowded population density. So, what is the Lantau Tomorrow vision? This plan was proposed many years ago, but recently our Chief Executive Carrie Lam has taken it as a priority to carry out and implement the plan. The government has stated in proposing this plan that the housing crisis will be resolved once and for all. Additional benefits will be added, such as fixing the problem of unemployment by creating a third core business district, similar to the ones in Tsim Sha Tsui and Central. Improving leisure and recreation activities by providing more access to bicycle lanes, making Sunny Bay a vacation destination, etc. There would also be a strong transport connector built into connecting these areas with the rest of Hong Kong. How will the government create all this extra land for housing and other purposes? They are planning to achieve this through a process called reclamation. Reclamation is, essentially, filling areas of ocean with sand and other fill materials derived from the sea. This is how Hong Kong has created land in the past, and it is how Carrie Lam is planning to create artificial islands in the future. As you can see, there are 3 to 4 islands that are planned to be constructed on the east side, just facing Discovery Bay, Disneyland, Mui Wo, and Peng Chau. The estimated effects of this are that the current population of 100,000 people in Lantau will be grown to house 1/7 of the total population, 1 million people. According to the chief executive, the first residents will be able to move in by 2032. Sunny Bay, which is currently mostly undeveloped, will be turned into a vacation resort all year round. Tongcheng will also be expanded to house more people, and the Hong Kong International Airport will be developed into an aerotropolis. This means there will be a district surrounding the airport itself where people can live and work. This whole business of reclamation is boasted to create a whopping 1,700 hectares of land. So we know this is a massive project, but how much will it cost? The government originally estimated that it would cost an entire $624 billion, which doesn't sound so bad at first. However, critics and studies show that a final cost of the entire project is more likely to exceed $1 trillion, which is over half of Hong Kong's fiscal reserves. Considering the public reserves have descended to 800 million right now, this is a major concern. Can Hong Kong take this? There are several things that have been affecting the Hong Kong economy for the past couple of years. One of these are, of course, the infamous COVID-19 outbreak. The outbreak has caused many residents in Hong Kong to lose their jobs, businesses to close down, restaurants to lose income because of the restrictions, and the flow of tourists and workers arriving to Hong Kong to come to a halt as flights were banned. The aging population also means that there is gradually becoming less of the educated, working younger generation that holds the economy of Hong Kong afloat. These factors have caused the downturn of Hong Kong's economy in recent years, causing us to question whether Hong Kong can really handle this extra output in the short term. If this takes a further downturn, Hong Kong may have to start borrowing debts. In the worst case scenarios, Hong Kong will be caught in a massive debts vortex. However, there are several members of the Legislative Council who see the potential for this plan and are willing to fund for it. For example, the Financial Secretary, Vetco Investor, and so on. There is something that draws suspicion to the government's claims. They claim that at least 70% of houses created by Lantau Tomorrow will be affordable, cheap public housing, but at the same time they boast a business core with the development of Central and TSC offering jobs and opportunities. These cannot coexist. The proportions simply do not work out. So what is the credibility of all these claims? There are more social consequences derived from this plan. With the current political situation, the lack of public consultation is not surprising but also not encouraging. This generates negative thoughts about the Lantau Tomorrow visions as citizens feel insignificant and powerless. Local fishermen will lose their source of income as their fishing grounds will be greatly reduced when the construction begins. The artificial islands will also allow the government to have more population control, which again isn't looking so great in the current political situation. Let's see the residents of Lantau speak for themselves. What do they think? Shui Hao village residents say that we don't know how bad the pollution will be, and it will be irreversible no matter how much you spend. It's like dropping ink into a glass of water. Just one drop and the whole glass is spoiled. Shop owners worry about the future of the generations to come, whether there will be any ecological resources left for them at all. First, the developers targeted the country parks. Now they're going for our seas. I don't want our children to live in a place without oceans and country parks. You can't build a roadside park and call it a country park, can you? Tai Long Wan multi-generational resident says that every step the government takes in destroying Lantau, this place is closer to losing its soul. Being idyllic and relaxed is Lantau's core. It's for holidays, not construction. He also says that the project might force out the artisans who move to the countryside for low rent or those who love nature and value their living standard. They've already moved from the city to the northwestern outskirts, then to the islands. Where can they go next? Aside from this, Mui Wo residents worry dust pollution would worsen their living conditions or strip marine animals of their living rights. As of right now, Hong Kong holds 84 hard coral species and 6 current marine parks. More than 70% of its land is country parks. A diverse ecosystem was once Hong Kong's outstanding point, which proves its importance to Hong Kong. So what is reclamation and what does it do to the environment? Reclamation essentially consists of collecting sand from the seabed to transport to the areas that will be reclaimed, causing water to become murky and having an impact on species living there. Another option is to pulverize rocks to create sand, also called filling material, which actually has a negative impact on the environment because of the greenhouse gases that are released into the air. It is estimated that to create every 470 million tons of sand, 1 million tons of CO2 will also be produced. Carrie Lam seems to be unconcerned about the environmental impacts because of Xi Jinping's efforts and passion, but the Hong Kong waters will directly affect mainland waters, and therefore the progress made by ecological mainland projects will be compromised. Many species will be affected by this project. The white-bellied sea eagles, 35 species of coral species, and rare native species Bogledeck's burrowing lizard will be facing threats due to the reclamation project. Another main concern are the Chinese white dolphins. Chinese white dolphins are iconic, but they are already driven away due to the bridge and other developments built in North and West Lantau. East and South Lantau are the only remaining habitat, but they are also soon to be pretty much destroyed by the underwater noise levels that this project will most likely cause. This is extremely detrimental to the dolphins who communicate underwater, and it is a huge threat to what is left of their existence. Considering the harmful impacts of the Lantau Tomorrow vision to the different aspects of Hong Kong's economy, ecosystem, and community, what are other solutions? There are many that are mentioned, but ecotourism would be an extremely beneficial replacement. It would boost the country's economy, educate civilians about the ecosystem, and provide jobs for unemployment. This video is aiming to increase knowledge and understanding about the issues concerning the Lantau Tomorrow vision.